What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome down to the kitchen table. I imagine Garen up in GB3 Studios sent you down here. Okay, not a problem. I was expecting that, as I understand when you're learning up in the studio, it can be a little bit hard to relate, as not many have an opportunity to be in that situation. So all of the courses, when you work with us, is of course, we're going to be talking about the theory of why we should be doing all this. And then of course, we're going to send you down here and we're going to be discussing the actual implementation of your virtual event checklist. The reason why I want to bring you down here is because it's more relatable to my clients. This is exactly where I started my virtual professional journey. Right here, this exact same kitchen table. However, what you're looking at right now is my MicroStudio. My MicroStudio is a podcast in a bag, and I don't want to dive into that right now simply because this workshop is not talking to you in depth about the equipment that I use when I'm going into virtual meetings, or any virtual event for that matter. This workshop is going to be talking to you about exactly the step-by-step process I go through as far as putting myself in the best possible position to be successful. 2 years ago, I created the virtual sales checklist. This is a checklist that I go through every single meeting to ensure that I'm putting myself in that position to be successful. I understand that could limit any sort of issues that come when using technology, as I can understand when you start implementing all this technology, how it can be intimidating. However, I want to assure you by the end of this course, you're gonna have a step-by-step guideline on how to troubleshoot, what exactly to look for, and what you can do on a step-by-step process. So when you go into your virtual meeting, the technology is the last thing that you're concerned about. You're gonna go into the meeting understanding who your audience is, what the purpose of this meeting or this event is going to be, and then you can put yourself in a position where you're demonstrating your best of your ability and showing up your best version of yourself in the virtual world. So before we get into MicroStudio and before we get into this checklist, you couldn't have come at a better time. In about an hour, I have an extremely important meeting with some shareholders talking about an investment opportunity with MicroStudio. So regardless, if you're a small client, a new client, a potential client, an existing client, every single time I go into a meeting, I'm going through this checklist to ensure that I'm providing you with the best possible experience when working with me in a virtual world. And of course, at this end of this workshop, you're gonna be able to provide those clients and your clients with that exact same experience. So before we dive into MicroStudio, I want to go back to where it really started. And it didn't start with a MicroStudio, I assure you. It started with a $10 ring lamp and a $50 web camera, and it grew from there. So before we dive into this, I want to take you down to the island. I want to show you exactly what I started with and what I saw in this technology to give me the motivation to constantly reinvest back into myself to ensure that I'm staying ahead of the curve. And again, separating myself from my competitors. So before we dive into the virtual sales checklist for my end, your end, the virtual event checklist, let's head on over here. I'm going to show you the basics of what I started with, so you can really appreciate where I am right now. So let's go take a quick look.